The following program deals with sensitive subject matter, including descriptions of violence and abuse. Viewer discretion is advised. Beverly Hills at dawn. A world meticulously curated, waking in the soft, golden light of Southern California. Here, perfection isn't just an aspiration, it's the landscape. Manicured lawns drink their morning water on a timer. Silent, watchful cameras guard the gates. From the curb, everything looks flawless, a testament to the American dream realized in its most opulent form. But privilege is a mask, and wealth is a fortress. Money buys privacy, and with it, the power to construct a narrative. Behind these gates, in the quiet echo of sprawling foyers, pressure can build to a deafening roar, far louder than any public applause. This is a world where image is currency, and every family member has a role to play in upholding the brand. At the center of one such fortress was Jose Menendez, a self-made entertainment executive who had clawed his way from Cuban immigrant roots to the heights of corporate power. He was driven, demanding, and obsessed with the appearance of success. His wife, Kitty, a former beauty queen, was tasked with managing the home front, ensuring the family's private life matched the public portrait of perfection Jose meticulously painted. Their two sons, Lyle and Eric, were the living embodiment of this ambition. Their lives were a carefully managed portfolio of achievements. Family snapshots without faces tell the story. Piano keys, mid-lesson, the chalk lines of a tennis court at noon, shelves groaning under the weight of trophies. Success was not just encouraged, it was engineered, arranged like decor, each award a testament to the family's unwavering commitment to excellence. Headlines in business journals whispered expectations: excellence, image, perfection. It was the kind of success that looks good in a frame but tightens like a knot behind closed doors. For the Menendez boys, the pressure to perform, in school, on the court, in life, was relentless. Failure wasn't an option, it was a betrayal of the family name. Then, the hairline fractures, a subtle crack in a polished marble countertop, a family photograph on the mantelpiece, hanging just slightly off kilter. Small, almost imperceptible signs that the flawless facade was under strain. The polished surface of their lives was beginning to show what lay beneath. Close-ups begin to tell another story, one hidden from the public gaze. Hands clenched in a lap, a locked bedroom door becoming a sanctuary or a prison. Words swallowed in a quiet hallway to maintain the peace. These were the silent, private moments where the official narrative frayed. A clipboard in a therapist's office. Notes written in careful, clinical script. A cry for help, perhaps. Arriving too late, or not being heard at all. The mechanisms designed to fix the problem were engaged, but the foundation was already compromised. In this house, at 722 North Elm Drive, lived the Menendez family, parents Jose and Kitty, and their two sons, Lyle and Eric. Their lives were polished for the public eye, a symbol of Beverly Hills prosperity. But on the night of August 20th, 1989, that symbol would be irrevocably shattered. After the tragedy, after the sirens faded and the yellow tape came down, the question that refused to fade was, why? Was this a story of privilege, trauma, or greed? Were Lyle and Eric entitled predators, driven by avarice to inherit a fortune? Or were they sons carrying a dark, unbearable burden that no one outside the family ever saw? The brothers would later allege years of horrific psychological and physical abuse, painting a portrait of a home governed by terror. Prosecutors, however, would present a very different story, one of cold-blooded, premeditated murder for money. Two starkly opposing narratives, born from the wreckage of one family. The media swarmed, drawn to the irresistible collision of wealth, glamour, and violence. The optics of privilege, the mansions, the luxury cars, the designer clothes, shaped the frame from the very beginning. But inside the margins of the story, buried beneath the sensational headlines, were quieter, more complex details of fear, control, loyalty, and profound shame. To grasp the motive, to understand the forces that converged on that summer night, we need a timeline. We must trace the pressure points, the decisions, and the actions that led to the final, violent outcome. Next, we follow the dates, as a summer in 1989 begins to unravel, day by day, choice by choice. The timeline of a tragedy begins on an ordinary summer weekend, Friday, August 18, 1989. For investigators, this day would become the prelude, a day of meticulous, almost chilling preparation. The paper trail starts here. Mileage logs and credit card receipts document a drive south, a 2-hour journey from the manicured lawns of Beverly Hills to the sprawling city of San Diego. The purpose of the trip was specific and deadly. At a Big Five sporting goods store, far from their neighborhood, Lyle and Eric Menendez purchased 2 12-gauge shotguns. The transactions were clean, legal, and documented, but the choice of location suggested a desire for distance, for anonymity. The plan was tightening, each receipt a piece of a puzzle that wouldn't be assembled for months. August 19th, Saturday, a day spent cultivating an image of absolute normalcy. A calm before the storm. There were tennis lessons and routine errands. Later, the brothers attended a food festival in Santa Monica with friends. Each interaction, each public appearance, would later be scrutinized as a carefully placed stone in a wall of social alibis. They were visible, accounted for, performing the roles of carefree young men. Back at the family home, the house breathed its usual rhythm. But beneath the surface of this domestic quiet, a different reality was taking shape. August 20th, Sunday night, the final act. At the Beverly Hills mansion on 722 North Elm Drive, Jose and Kitty Menendez settled in for a quiet evening, watching a movie in the family room. Around 10:00 p.m., the brothers entered the room. The events that followed would shatter the silence of the neighborhood and the lives of everyone involved. The summer night turned heavy, absorbing the violence that erupted within the walls of the mansion. For over an hour, the house held its secret. Then, at 11:47 p.m., a call was placed to 911. The voice on the line was Lyle Menendez, hysterical and breathless. The recording captured pure panic as he repeated the address, his words tumbling out, "Someone's killed my parents." Within minutes, sirens bloomed into flashes of blue and red across the perfectly trimmed hedges of North Elm Drive, announcing the arrival of a horror previously unimaginable in this enclave of wealth and privilege. As the clock ticked past midnight, it was officially August 21st. The crime scene was secured, and the investigation began. Evidence bags were labeled, collecting the grim artifacts of the crime: shotgun shells, wadding, fibers. Each item was a potential clue in a case that, at first, seemed to point outward. Early theories, fueled by Jose Menendez's controversial business dealings, tilted toward a professional, organized crime hit, a brutal act of retaliation. In these initial hours and days, Lyle and Eric were treated as grieving witnesses, not suspects. They were the traumatized sons who had discovered a horrific scene. But as the investigation deepened, that narrative would begin to fray. Next, the search for truth would move from the crime scene to the interrogation room, and ultimately, to the courts that would test every story. Courthouse steps, cameras. The first trial becomes a national broadcast. Every objection, a chyron. Juries split, hung, after weeks of testimony. The defense presents a family history of abuse. The prosecution counters with premeditation, a powerful financial motive. Gavel silhouettes, split-screen arguments. When cameras are barred the second time, the spectacle fades, the stakes rise. Courtroom sketches stand in for faces, legal filings, scroll motions, ruling strategy, verdicts, land guilty on multiple counts. Sentencing follows long terms, close one chapter open, decades of consequence. Outside, opinion shifts in waves, sympathy, anger, doubt, reshaped by headlines and hindsight. We leave this moment at the threshold of reevaluation, where new voices and old records will be tested in Chapter 10.4. Decades after the gavel fell, the Menendez case was reborn, not in a courtroom, but in the digital town square. Scroll the present tense. Anonymized tiles slide by on screens, held by a generation that never saw the original court TV broadcast. The story, once filtered through nightly news, now flows through an endless user-generated feed. Here, true crime podcasts dissect timelines with forensic granularity, spending hours on details the original trials glossed over. Waveform peaks puncture the quiet, analyzing every tremor in a 911 call, every pause in testimony. At the other end of the spectrum, stitched shorts condense years of complex trauma and legal maneuvering into 60 seconds. These viral clips, often set to trending audio, simplify the narrative, creating powerful, easily digestible arguments that resonate with millions. Hashtags drift like digital picket signs, each one a banner for a different interpretation of the truth. Abuse evidence, or fair trial, motive. The court of public opinion is in session, and its arguments are searchable, shareable, and constantly evolving. This new wave of interest is fueled by fresh material. Newly released documents surface, redactions thinned by time and persistence. Footnotes once buried in legal archives are amplified into viral threads, analyzed by a global network of citizen detectives. Everything is pinned to a digital corkboard that connects reports, interviews, and glaring contradictions. Two dominant narratives emerge from the noise. On one side, advocates revisit childhood trauma, pointing to psychological evaluations and testimony as clear evidence of sustained abuse. They highlight patterns of coercion and what they see as systemic blind spots in a justice system that failed to protect them. Critics counter with evidence of planning, focusing on the shotgun purchase and the brothers' behavior after the killings. They trace money trails and argue the motive was not fear, but greed, a cold-blooded plot to inherit a fortune. Fact-check threads duel with hot takes, while long-form deep dives attempt to slow the scroll and add nuance. But in this digital ecosystem, emotion often travels faster than evidence. Yet, for all the online debate, the legal reality remains unchanged. In the courts, the sentence stands. Limited avenues for relief remain, and online petitions rise and fall with the fleeting tide of news cycles. As the feed settles, we're left with the harder click, the core questions that this case forces us to confront, now amplified for a new era. Privilege, trauma, accountability. The digital retrial has no judge and no final verdict, leaving it to us to decide what justice should look like now.